Sounds good.
All right, so this is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. Website is www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Today we're talking about the power of mastermind groups, and it's a general Q&A session. Anybody who wants to come into the seat, feel free. If you talk about anything other than mastermind groups, do know that I can boot you out, and I have been known to do it. It's called blabjacking. It's not allowed here. But general conversation around business is also just fine. So let's get David in the room, because you've been warned. He was in another room with me on zombies. We were doing a zombie walk or zombie talk or something goofy.
Nice.
David, really? What's up with the video? You may have to refresh because you're doing the time warp thing. All right, so refresh yourself and see what happens. Thank you. I'll let you back in. That's not a problem. So let's talk about the power of mastermind groups. One reason that I even wanted to have this is because I'm realizing more and more people aren't understanding the difference between a mastermind group, a panel discussion, and a training session. Because the past year or two, there's been an influx of groups gathering, calling themselves masterminds. And I have a problem with that. Hi, David.
Hi, can you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you too.
That was weird.
Yeah.
It asked me to watch a video tutorial. I'm like, what?
All right.
But anyway. So were you talking about zombies? No, I know you're not. That was
Watch it. I'm right above the X. You know I am.
I thought Rhode Island was a small world, but Blab is a small world. I'm just checking out Blabs and like, oh, there you are again. Keep following Charlene without meaning to.
Oh, no, you can follow me. That's okay.
And I did, actually. I think I did. No, I didn't. I will right now. But
go ahead and follow me. Yeah, I could follow David as well. He's Hero X or something. I'm sure it's pronounced completely different than what I'm saying because it sounds strange. And I'm getting feedback from you, David.
Oh, from me?
I'm hearing myself, yeah. So lower the volume on your speakers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is it, Lynn. This is what happens when somebody doesn't have a headset or earbuds.
Right. How is that? Is it better?
Yeah.
Better?
That's much better. Much better. All right. So what do you think, David? Do you have any thoughts about masterminds or mastermind groups?
I believe in them. I tried to join one, and they're not all created equal, right? I mean, they're all different.
That's true.
And
Totally
the one I
different.
went to, and some are free, and I think there's something to be said about that. Maybe they should cost something so you can feel like you're getting something out of it. But it was $11 a month, which is not even an issue, really.
Yeah.
But it was just odd. It was a strange mix of people, and I gave to them. They were talking about their business, and I'm a web designer, graphic designer guy, creative.
Mm-hmm.
So I was given some pointers, and they're like, oh, great, you have a card. And I felt like I was giving to them, but after 3 visits, I thought, all right, I don't mind giving, but I'm not seeing anything come back. So it was it was like the boat was leaning towards selfishness. And I don't think they even realized it, so I just stopped going. But I've always been looking for one. Is there one on Blab?
No, and I wouldn't recommend it.
No?
No. Now, this is my viewpoint, and this is based on the Napoleon Hill basic definition of a mastermind, which is that people of different perspectives gather, and by the sharing and participation of each member focused on solving a problem, a mastermind occurs. A synergy happens, that new ideas get thrown out, get created. We're inspired because of those different perspectives and backgrounds that are brought into play. So I think that it's very important that a mastermind group be private, that it be have a leader or a moderator that is not a full participant, and in actuality shouldn't participate much at all as a member, but should moderate and make sure people stay on track to prevent what just happened to you. And that, again, this is the overall view of the mastermind, and that you should pay for it to get the to get the feeling that you've got skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't
You have to
think
be
it's
committed
required.
or it's not going to work.
Yes. So now that's my general view. What do you think, Lynn?
I think you have to be committed to it. And if it's just a drop-in thing, that's not going to work. But if it's a closed group of people who are really committed to the process with a structure in place, I think that's the best way to do it. If it's just a drop-in, then it's just kind of, BSing and sharing cards and stuff. And that's more like a meetup almost.
Yeah.
But having a structured plan of, okay, we're committing to this many sessions and these are what we're going to do at each session, and obviously stuff changes within that plan. I mean, when the mastermind that I was part of, what I said I was going to do at the beginning, the program was kind of not what happened at the end, but I still had really good results. But it was the meeting with the same people time after time and being accountable.
But the accomplishments that you had and the changes that were made wasn't because of the mastermind. It was because of you making the decision to change direction or to do something different than what had been previously discussed, right?
Yeah, and getting the input from other members and saying, well, have you thought about trying this? Or I get where you're coming from and it's really hard. Just having that support is really helpful, as well as the ideas and the mastermind, mindset that we all came to the meeting with ideas for others as well as ideas for ourselves. And then we needed to, support each other and suggest and challenge. There were times of challenging, and so that's what made it good. But yeah, otherwise it's just a meetup, I think.
What's the ideal number? Because I read the book, but I don't. Did he mention that Napoleon Hill's Think Grow Rich? Does he mention the ideal number? He only has one chapter on that, but
yeah. No, I don't recall him mentioning an ideal number, simply because I think that a mastermind group is about what the individual needs and what the group is set up for. So let me throw this out to you. There's different types of mastermind groups. So Lynn had participated in one that I moderate called Goals and Accountability. And it is 3 months, meet twice a month, set your goals down, rely on each other to help reach those goals. There was a member in that group that had, what she did basically was throw up her to-do list for the day. So the group kind of got together and said, that's not going to work. But part of my job as a moderator leader was to guide the group in what's okay to say and what's not, to make sure everybody had their say and their time to participate, because participation's key on both sides. Everybody has to participate. So that was very focused on goals and accountability with the time frame. Then you can have mastermind groups like one I've been moderating since 2009. We meet once a month and we continue to meet once a month. And they will not meet without me. That's their fault. But it's, I've tried to get somebody to come in, but I get the email saying, no, if you're not going to be there, then we're just going to wait till next month. But we've been meetings for almost, 6 years now. So, and ours is very focused. It's industry. We're all the same business owners. We own the same type of business. And the agenda is open floor, but it's within a time frame. And my job is to make sure that everybody participates, but that it's within a time frame. So, and I'm getting feedback again. Ian, 7 to 12. I think it depends. Like the one Lynn was in and one I run, that 3 month, we can have up to 10. But we're still looking at 2.5 hours to meet to make sure all 10 are covered. The 1.5 hour one.
More than 10.
Yeah, the 1.5 hour where it's business related and just general open, that runs an hour and a half. And we have no more than 6 in there. Then you can have one that's topic specific. So like could have a book study where you're truly masterminding and studying a book and then trying to learn from it and learn from each other. And it's in a closed session area. I would think you wouldn't want more than 5 or 6 people. So I'm going to go with Ian's, the 7 to 12, because you also have those, and this can be a mastermind where it's run by a coach or somebody with experience, but who brings in others. Because I'm going to be running one like that. That's something different, but it's where the members are all very different in their backgrounds, talking about business, growing their business, problem solving, but also learning something. Mm-hmm. So you come into the meeting and you're presented with something new to learn, or you're told ahead of time, this is an open session meeting where everybody gets their chance, to speak. But again, it's structured. And I wouldn't want more than 7 or 8 in a meeting like that. Again, because of time. But I'm talking about meeting online. And I know Ian's talking about meeting in person, too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different types.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was reading something where someone said that if they didn't, and I forget who this was, but they have a very successful online business, kind of a membership style business, online membership business. And he said if he could remove everything but one thing in their past when he started, he says, I'd remove everything except joining a mastermind. That's the one thing I could not remove from my past. That's the key to my success. Absolutely.
There's great power in a mastermind group. I can tell you that my own experience, it was the mastermind group that helped me to decide to make change in direction in my business. They know me. They've known me since 2009. They've encouraged me to do different things, and I've balked and I've hesitated because of the way my business was set up. And there came a time where I went to them and said, I'm having this problem in the business. And collectively it was, Charlene, it's time. You need to be moving in a little bit of a different direction. Enough. And I was ready to it's okay. But they also gave me some ideas on guidance, on plan, and, how can this look? That sort of thing.
Right.
But for problem solving, I think it's powerful. What do you think, Lynn?
I think so. I mean, the mastermind that I did this summer essentially launched my business in a great way. I ended up, by the end of this, the mastermind group, I had added 3 new clients and 1 very big project. Been invited to speak 2 different places. And I mean, it's like it exploded after the mastermind group. And I think it's because I was giving my business the absolute attention that it needed and having the support of colleagues, because otherwise I'm just sitting here in my office by myself, but having people that say, hey, did you do this? It made a difference. It absolutely did.
That's inspiring to hear that. Yeah.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Hello, lovely people in the room. Nice to see you all.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet you, and nice to meet you too, David.
Nice meeting you.
So do you have any thoughts on the power of mastermind groups or Q's and A's?
I do, and I've got echo going, which means I've got something else open here. So actually, I don't have something else open.
Is it me?
I bet you, David.
Hold on a second.
He's using it.
It's all your fault,
hold on a second.
Speakers.
Okay, I do, and I'll wait for David to get back. And I've only got 7% battery left, so because you guys know what happens, like the last 10% of battery, like
we're all gonna good thoughts. Send the energy over there, Lynn.
So I'll start by saying, which is probably obvious to everyone. And Scott, I want to see you in one of these seats because Scott is like on every blab, and I'm dying to meet Scott. So right,
I don't know. He says
I haven't seen him in a seat yet.
Okay,
but what I was going to say is,
Scott is yours.
Yeah, I love the concept of masterminding. And I'm going to say it that way, the concept of, because my experience of it is a little bit different. than what my imagination is of it, right? So my imagination of it is that you get a bunch of people together, however many it is, right? And they're all at various stages in their businesses, but not so far apart in their stages that there's no relatability, right? Or not so far apart where you've got somebody who's a rock star and they're just dragging along the newbie by the heels, right? I'm not talking about that. But what I found, and I'm resistant to saying this because it's on the record, but I will say it, is that I've been in a mastermind now for almost 5 years, and it's these magnificent human beings. But we're friends now.
Oh.
And
the
that
dynamic
should be a beautiful thing, right? But what I mean is we're actually friends now. So imagine this is my coffee cup, right? And we're like, oh, it's, how are the kids? And what I'm noticing, especially in the past 3 months with all the new live streaming taking over and all that, is that I am itchy. I am dying. I am questing for a mastermind of people around me that are, let's go. I don't want to be comfortable with you. I want to push you. I want you to push me. I want, and this is what I've been seeking. And actually kind of finding Blab is sort of like that on its own. Right. So I guess that's what I wanted to say. It's not so much, I love the idea of it. It's just not, my experience hasn't been the thing that I'm really looking for.
Was it what you needed in the beginning though? And then the dynamic changed.
Yes. And that was because I was new in the beginning. So that was 5 years ago. I was new to blogging. I was new to online business at all. Like moving my business. I'm an esthetician by trade. So I was literally going from something very physical in person into something, moving it online. Right. And so the people that I was in the group with were all new to online stuff as well. And some really took, every class they could. I totally did that. And, so I was trying to escalate my learning. But, when I like people. So it was hard to let go. So I guess that I'm going to flip that into a question as long as I have battery. And how do you find a mastermind of people that are going to actually challenge you and in the good way, really help in that you can.
So is now the time to tell you that I run mastermind groups?
Yes, now would be the time.
Oh, wow.
And not only does she run mastermind groups, they're awesome.
Okay.
They're awesome.
Charlene, you've been holding out on me.
Yeah, well, you've never mentioned it.
Charlene, where are you from?
I'm in the Louisville, Kentucky area.
Oh.
Honestly, Jackie, had you mentioned it, I would have private tweeted you and said, listen, let's have a Skype conversation and talk to see if something's a good fit for you. So what I do is currently I'm running I've opened it to the public. It's a 3-month goals and accountability mastermind group. And it's done this way for a reason. It's low point of entry in terms of money. It's only $147 for the full 3 months. Mm-hmm. Meet twice a month. Everybody gathers, gets to know each other, do the goals, set them down, write them down, stay on top of each other to make sure it gets done. Lynn can speak to the experience of what that's like. But it's a good entry point for 2 reasons. One is for somebody who's never been in a mastermind to try to figure out what's the feel of it and what is it like to have a moderator who makes sure that all participants are participating and keeping things on track. And the second one is to get to know me as the moderator, so that when I invite you to go into the Grow Your Business Mastermind, because that one is by invitation, then you're more likely to be informed as to say whether or not you would want to be a part of that. Right. So that's the initial. That's it.
Okay, so I'm so glad I brought it up.
Well, really? So am I. So am I.
And I'm starting to panic. Like, I don't know if you can see this. I'm turning red. I'm starting to panic because now I'm down to 3%.
Oh, no. So, well, know. All right. So
I want to say something, though. Scott mentioned in the side here that Blab is still finding its culture. I think you're absolutely right, Scott. And I'm with you. I'm sorry, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody here, but if I see somebody smoking on their Blab, it's an automatic. I've got to leave. It's I don't know why.
That's interesting.
So
we all have something. Yeah, I booted the guy out because he was shirtless. That was all it took.
Oh, and that was the other thing. I actually wanted to acknowledge you publicly. I did it a little bit in the blab before this, but Charlene saved my butt on Sunday from some guy that came in completely blab-jacked my blab.
I just called him out. I just called him out, didn't I? Well, I'm used to him. And I said, oh, he's blab-jacking.
And I was just like, what is going on here?
You're welcome. He never would have gotten the subtlety.
Thank you very much. That was like permission on speed. So I'm sorry, guys. This really is going to go, and I don't want to blab.
Well, Jackie, I tell you what, there's a link. Read a little bit about what that is about. All it's going to do is take you to a registration pay, no prepayment, because I always Skype interview anybody, regardless of the level of the mastermind group, to make sure that they're a fit and it's what they're looking for. And if you register, I'll have your info. We'll Skype and we can talk deeper. Maybe it's not a good fit, any what I offer, but I can maybe help you, guide you in a different direction.
Awesome.
Happy to do that.
Charlene, thank you so much. And Lynn, Marie, and David, thank you so much for letting me jump in for a moment. And
yeah, no problem, Jackie. It was great. It was great hanging with you.
David.
But, you can go. You can go now.
I need to find those candies. I don't even know if they still make them. The candy cigarettes that used to be able to blow and little puffs of sugar would come.
Yeah, they probably made them illegal,
I actually have to go. I've got dinner too, but it's great talking to you people. Thank you so much,
I hope you
Charlie.
got your answers. You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pleasure having you on.
Bye, guys.
So, Scott, I hear that you're supposed to come on.
Yeah, Scott, come on.
David, are you? Oh. I'll get David out. Not a problem. Wasn't sure where that was going to go. So, Scott, we're told that you need to be in here, right? Okay, thanks, Cheval.
Out the door. Carpool.
Oh, carpool duties. Yeah. And this is an experiment, doing it at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Normally, I do these things like at 10, 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning to avoid stuff like that. But next time, Scott. How's that? Anybody else want to jump in?
So I have a question, Charlene.
Yeah.
This is my first blab. And there's at the bottom of my little picture, there's these little hands.
Yeah, they're called
and then
props.
These numbers and then heads. Yeah. What the hell is that?
We're giving you props, and it's the same as liking repeatedly, that we like what you say and we're supporting you. You would have loved it. You would have loved it 2 weeks ago, because up until about 2 weeks ago, they were called feels. See, told you.
And why did you say that I would like something
because
like
you would be the one that would sit there, come on, everybody, feel me up. I know you'll do it, right? Yes, you would. See, I know you.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
So it's props. Right. It's props, and it was Blab is still in beta, and Team Blab is very conscious of what's going on and who's doing what. And when the community really comes out full force to say we need this feature, they bring it. And so because it's less than 40 days old.
Sounds like they might need a mastermind group.
They have one. Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
It's always fun when somebody who has no idea what the conversation is about attempts to come in. And so I usually don't let them, to be honest with you. I ask that, if you're going to come into a room, that it's because if you think you can add to it, type something in the comment area. How's that?
Yeah. There you go. That makes sense.
That's the best way because, it's general. We don't know who comes in and who comes out.
Right.
What does the word beta mean? It means it's still in testing mode.
They're still practicing.
Yeah, and that's why it's declared as beta, so everybody who uses it knows and understands why some things don't work the way they're expected to and what have you. Back to masterminds.
Back to masterminds.
It was interesting.
Indeed.
So Ian was with me yesterday, and he was talking about the power of his masterminds, and he deals with larger businesses than ours. you know, and they have employees and staff and what have you, and it's a variety of positions. And his is very, very guided. And then we were talking about pulling together which are the best ones. So here's a question for general discussion, and I'd like to hear input, is industry specific, position specific, business model specific, or does it matter? So I throw that out to you because you were in the goals and accountability type with business model specific people. And I guess we could say it was industry specific, couldn't we?
I think so.
Okay.
So I think so. I mean, it's kind of a broad, overview of industry.
It was more the business model, though.
It was more the business model specific. Yeah. Okay. And I think for me, the business specific model was best. I think if I was in a mastermind group with people who had large companies versus, the individual
solopreneur,
I think I would feel, solopreneur, thank you, that it would be awkward. Because you really wouldn't be sharing the same problems. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would feel weird if a business owner who had 50 employees was in the same mastermind.
And honestly, I wouldn't put those in there.
Yeah, that would just be strange to me. And I think you could do something with industries. Like I could see myself in a mastermind group with a solo lawyer or a solo accountant, those
so
kinds of things.
So the business model was really the most effective.
Yeah, I think.
Which is funny because when I'm interviewing people, that's pretty much what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, you've been in business a little while. Are you a giver? Or do you want to participate? Do you like helping others to get their answers? But also, do you have a partner in the business and at what level? Do you have employees? I think it's because of the experience I've had over the past years, the types of businesses that have been represented in the ones that I'm a part of, because I'm also a part of a CEO roundtable that meets once a month, and it meets in person. And I'm in a room full. My business is online. We've got a salon owner. We've got the owner of a lumber company, the owner of a lumber company. Then we have the owner of a brick and mortar retail spot for T-shirts. And so it's wide variety of backgrounds. Some have employees, but salon, actually they all have employees except me. And it does feel a little awkward. Uh-oh. Now, did I lose Lynn or did everybody lose Lynn? I need to know, because if everybody lost Lynn, that means you might have lost me too, and I need to refresh. Oh no, she's blinking. Okay, come back, Lynn. So my thoughts on that are, my own experience says that I can still get a lot of value out of, now she's gone, Karen. You're welcome to come in, Karen, if you want to join in the conversation. We'd love to have you there. But again, my thoughts are that while I get a lot of value, it didn't last very long, because I'm hearing the same things out of the other business owners, the same problems or types of problems. Okay, you're welcome to just sit on the sidelines if you're okay with me talking. And so what happens is I keep wanting to move forward. I want to do things. I want to get things done. So for me to sit in a room full of people that I'm appreciative that they want to solve my problem, but when it's not about me, I get to sit and listen to things that I'm just really not that up to speed on. Now I say that because the way this particular group is run, not everybody participates. And I also don't like that, which is why I run my groups the way I do. Hi, Lynn. Welcome back.
Hi. My internet went down. So,
Yeah, mine's subject to do that too. We all understand that. Well, I was telling Karen was in here with me, so I was telling Karen that that CEO roundtable that I attend once a month. One of the reasons I don't like it, it's set up so that the leader presents something to us for discussion, for learning. You know, this is what I do in a small way, and the grow your biz, and then the next level up from that is bringing in people and really intense stuff. But we'll have sessions of all right, everybody do this, to creativity sessions and what have you. Okay, so we don't always do a problem solving thing. Now, mind you, this group isn't called a mastermind group.
Okay.
But others would call it this, because when we do problem solve, we're all there and focused on, solving the problem. So number one, not everybody is asked to participate. We will sometimes take 2 hours talking about one person's business.
Okay.
And there's things that I don't know and really don't care about having employees or managing the different personalities. I mean, I was sitting there. One has a brick and mortar T-shirts, as I was saying, a salon owner, and the lumber. And I was giving my input because I'm familiar with what they were talking about. I grew up in retail. I've run stores, and all this, and they're not doing anything. So it's very annoying to me. It's very annoying to me. But they're not. It's also not a social hour. But they're gathering so that they're in a room. Oh, we have the realtor broker who has a brokerage. Now she has over 30 realtors under her, 30 agents. I mean, so, I'm leaving. I've been there long enough. I've been there almost 2 years. And the past few months have been not getting anything, and I don't feel like I'm giving anything. So that's cemented for me the importance of something that I value, which is that if you're going to be a part of the mastermind, and I think you're going to agree to this, having been in one of mine, that it's important to me that everybody participate, that everybody have an opportunity to say, this is all about you. You have the next 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. This is you. I will turn everybody off.
Yeah.
This is you. And even if you only take 2 minutes, which happens sometimes, that's fine. That is your 2 minutes. That's what you're here for. So I think it's very important that happens.
And well, what I thought with the mastermind group, that even if I did not want to talk during my 15 minutes, sometimes I just felt like I rambled. But what it was helping me do was think out loud. And so then I'm thinking out loud and I'm processing, and then I get this immediate feedback from everybody else, which was really helpful.
How powerful is that?
Sometimes I just sit and talk in my office and I don't get any feedback.
And if you did, it'd be scary because it's coming from the one who's just talking away, right?
Yeah. So having that group, and that it forces you, it really does, to lay it out there and be successful. And if you're not willing to go for it, then a mastermind group is probably not going to work for you, or you're not going to get the benefit out of it. But you kind of do have to just lay it out there. And which is why a small, safe, private group is essential.
Well, and you were hesitant in the beginning to participate because you weren't very clear on some things, if I recall, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the group helped you.
Absolutely. Helped me clarify, helped me figure out some stuff that was in the back of my head, but I wasn't ready to admit it. Like, I hated my website and I needed it to be something different completely, and I couldn't do it. And so that, that was really a great thing, even though I'm like, oh crap, I can't do everything. What? Come on. But so you accept it, you move on, and it's so much better now.
Yes, and your business is booming, which I think is fantastic.
My business is booming.
I think it's fantastic.
I mean, it really took a leap, and I absolutely attribute it to the Mastermind group.
I am so glad.
And no, I'm not a plant in the audience to, pitch for.
She's here to plug
Charlene, but
yeah.
she does a rockin' job in the moderating department. So I would definitely recommend it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And honest to God's truth, when I asked Lynn to come on, I wanted her to talk about her experience being in a mastermind because I want to answer Q&As. I want to get other people's answers, I'll answer that in a second, Rick. Because yes, I'm here to share with you that I have a mastermind group that has some seats. And that's the link I just put out there. There's some seats available. It's goals and accountability, perfect for initial entry into the mastermind experience because it's short term and it's you get things done just the way I've got it structured. It's been proven. Well, almost 2 years I've been running it. It's been proven. So to answer Rick's question about this mastermind group meets in physical space, it doesn't have to. This one in particular I'm talking about meets on the platform of Zoom, which is totally private meeting virtually. And Lynn was a part of that virtual. We had started out on Google Hangouts, actually, when I first started the mastermind early last year. And we were having, I just call it Google Dropouts. And we could have it private, but set up and making sure everybody could get in was a hassle. And when I moved to Zoom, the minute Zoom became available to me, like in June, I've been all over it because it's a fabulous setting, especially, I think, for the masterminds. What'd you think of it, Lynn, being the member?
I thought it was so much better. I mean, the Google Hangouts was constantly dropping out for whomever, and the Zoom, just the being able to see everybody. I mean, we did this whole like Brady Bunch kind of thing. Everybody,
there's a reason I kept them muted. They would have broken out in song,
Yeah, but it's I think the Zoom platform. I mean, Google Hangouts, what?
I know. And then the word is Google has stopped. They just did an upgrade on the Hangouts, and yet the word is they're going to stop supporting it. So,
that's probably why, because it's not very good. And Zoom is delightful. So, and it worked for all of us, and we I don't think we ever had it drop out on us, and we just it was just really easy.
Love hearing that. And everybody who uses it says the same thing. Yeah. So I've got an empty seat. Anybody who wants to talk about the power of a mastermind group, share your experience. What kind are you familiar with? Would love to hear it. For those new to the room, I've run masterminds since 2009. The link I put up there is because I do have seats available in what's called a goals and accountability mastermind, which is 3 months. Well, what do you mean you're at work? Shh, turn the volume down, right? Next time. But it's a perfect entry for somebody who isn't quite sure, because the entry point for dollar amounts is very low. But I still, even then, I vet people. I was talking with somebody just the other day who he's all over it. He really wants to be a part of it. And I'm saying, no, the personality wise, it wouldn't be good for the group. And that's my ultimate role as the moderator leader, is to make sure that the group is healthy, that the participants are getting the time they need, they're getting the answers they need, they're being pulled into helping people too, because just having somebody express, an issue or this is it, because I remember we had it was last year, we had somebody very, very reluctant to give advice or to guide or to give thoughts. And so I was seeing that, and it's my job, again, for the health of the group, to make sure that they felt that they could. So I had a little private confab, and it was just insecurity. And Rick, actually, I was thinking of somebody like you. You've expressed this before. it's an insecurity that says, well, somebody's going to say what I say, or somebody knows more than I do. And that's not the point. The point is that by a member sharing their experience or their thoughts, even if it's way off target, but they're being sincere, adds to the energy of the mastermind that's being created to solve a problem. Hi, James. Welcome.
Hello. How are you guys? How are you doing, Charlene and Lynn?
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah, hi.
Good. Where are you based, Charlene?
I am based near Louisville, Kentucky, in the Midwest of the United States.
And Lynn?
I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay, well, greetings from Ireland.
So,
Ireland, yes. You just keep talking, dear.
well, hi.
Good,
Yeah.
good. So I'm enjoying your discussion on masterminds. It's actually something that I aspire to set up my own mastermind in next year, and I was just
Excellent.
a little bit of research on it, and I've been part of different types of masterminds, some paid, some not paid, and it's something that I'm exploring for next year, whether it will be one that I will actually run from the front or whether I will have a mastermind with a mastermind of equals in terms of building my own expertise and knowledge with peers that are expanding in their own, in a very similar.
So it's still an idea stage.
Yeah, it's still an idea stage, but
okay.
I'm getting closer and closer to realize that I know that between now and the end of the year it's not going to be possible, but for the spring of 2016, I think it's a real reality. And just interested in the discussion on masterminds and what you have learned you've been involved, Charlene, since 2009 doing masterminds, is that right?
Yeah, I've been running them, yes. I've been in one off and on over the years for different reasons and different types. And then I'm about ready to leave one that I've been a part of for 2 years, which is an in-person, it's more of a CEO roundtable rather than a mastermind. But the setup can be modified to become a mastermind.
Yeah. I would see the type of mastermind I have in mind is probably 3 days every 90 days. So a group coming together. That's
pretty intense. Okay.
Yeah, that would be it'd be live and very much it's almost a coming together, and then the 90 days that follow would be about implementing the commitments of the group.
Okay. So a question I have is, are you intending, because this is my view of a mastermind based on Napoleon Hill, which is ultimately we're here to help the member solve a problem to get them to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's a business issue, if it's running the business, if it's a personal issue, if it's a heart issue, if it's mental, and we don't have the pills for it. If it's something that is causing the business owner a problem, or again, a mastermind can be causing the individual a problem and not understanding something, a life issue or what have you. It's the group that comes together to help and to help come up with solutions. Yes. So having said that, I'd like to hear more about how you're going to do that in a 3-day setting. That your thoughts right now. I know it's not completely fleshed out, but I'm curious.
So like I would see it where, in a 3-day setting, it would be the first, initially, like whoever's in the group, that I would meet them individually in advance, and there would be, at least some time to understand their outcomes, get very clear on what is they want, and have those private conversations with the individuals before the group would start. And then the 3 days is on delivering content for 2 of those days. And the last day would probably be hot seats to support the individuals in getting the collective masterminding.
See, and I wouldn't call that a mastermind.
Okay.
I would call it something like a training retreat or a training intensive or a workshop, and have a segment of it be considered a mastermind if you consider it to be user generated content. If you think of it that way,
Mm-hmm.
I would be put off if you were to tell me or invite me to your mastermind and then tell me what you just told me.
Okay, that's good.
If that's what you called it. But if you told me that, I've got this workshop intensive, that this is the structure, we're going to meet for 3 days. Within that, we're going to have a mastermind where we're going to get small groups together for, 4 hours to really focus on individual and have group leaders or something. But where you're going to get real solid answers that are going to help propel your business forward. Then the next 90 days, everything you've learned in that 3-day intensive is what you will be putting into use the next 90 days, and we'll meet again. Yeah. And when we come back, then we'll have another day of training, of getting you up to speed. But initially it's going to be, the first day is going to be, we're all going to get together and share the successes and failures of what occurred the past 90 days so that you can feel like that you're getting the direct personal attention from people in the group. It's almost like grow together every 90 days. And then you would come in and say, here are additional things to move your business forward. Okay. That's how it's fleshing out in my mind, where segment can be called the mastermind session, a segment. And think of it like user-generated content. So that, or peer group.
And for the masterminds that you facilitate, Charlene, what is the typical structure, and what's working best in the way?
Well, what works best for me, and it's I've been in talks with Ian out of Australia. He runs similar groups. Is that the structure is there's a time frame for the meeting. Everybody participates. That the best ones for me are focused on business model or topic. And that as the leader, I make sure that it's a good fit. So I vet everybody beforehand and make sure that they are willing to participate and that they want to help others to be better, get better, and they're willing to get guidance themselves.
And when you say business model and topic, does it mean that everybody in the group there's an open and transparent discussion around the financials of each?
No. Not all, in one group, yes, but that's one when that's when you've got a minimum commitment of 6 months, and we're still not talking about that yet. Okay. We're still not. It's going to take. It's going to take a year or so of the same people, no new fresh faces, before you've got that level of trust where you're opening up the books. But that would be one, quite honestly, where we would meet twice a month. We would be focused on growth, forward thinking, innovative thinking, doing, it's obviously going to be more expensive on a monthly basis, but it's intense, where we're all sitting here. I brought something new to the table for everybody to try. Here's an exercise. Everybody has their chance to have their time on the floor, so to speak. Got a problem? Tell me ahead of time. You get the hot seat for a short time, that sort of thing. So there's still structure. But because of the way that one is structured, it would be, again, the 6-month minimum commitment with an opportunity to meet face-to-face. Maybe once a year or every 6 months. Okay. So that, we may be in various parts of the country or various parts of the world, but here's an opportunity that I would present. I haven't done this yet, but it could easily turn into, let's meet face to face. Let's rent a house. Yes. It could be Airbnb, for God's sakes. You can do it now. So let's rent a house, right? And just all get together and do a 3-day, like James is talking about, or if we're all close enough, we could have a 2-day where if you're in driving distance, you could do that.
And have you a preference for the minimum and maximum number based on the model? Yeah.
My preference is 6 to 10, depending on the model. Up to 10 for the goals and accountability, which is a 3-month You're there to just write out your goals, get help with setting your goals, get help with helping you to reach those goals. That's up to 10. But the others, the sweet spot seems to be 6. I'm okay considering 7 or 8. I know people who have more. But again, it's meeting online and in a virtual setting and being mindful of the amount of time. Now, that's me as a moderator and one who runs one. Lynn just came out of one, and she has some good viewpoints that may be helpful to you.
Yeah. Okay. I think smaller is better, but not too small.
What's that mean?
Which kind of wishy-washy sounding, I know. But I think 8 would be my personal cap. Because beyond that, then that's a lot to be listening to in 2.5 hours online. And with 6, I think you might not get quite as robust of a conversation or feedback. And it feels like, the 8 is like my sweet spot for what I would.
Isn't that funny? Because the one you were in had 10 of us, 9 really active.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Right, exactly. I think 8 is good.
So you're talking about a virtual mastermind where the 8 people are on together using what technology are you using online to connect to everybody?
My favorite platform is Zoom.
Zoom, okay.
Yeah. Thank you for tweeting a little bird.
It worked
Anybody
really
wants
well.
to tell a little bird, feel free. Go ahead.
I must do that as well. So.
Yeah. Have you used Zoom, James?
I haven't used Zoom. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
The only thing with Zoom is that you can't have a Linux system, so it works well with Mac and PCs.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm big on Mac, so that's fine. So yeah, I must have a look at Zoom. Is that a video or mini conference call facility?
It is a meeting room, similar to GoToMeeting, but let me get you the link for it so that you can. It's got free trials.
Yes, US. Well, I use it for training. I've used it for training for the last 16 months. It's a great.
Is it not awesome? Yes.
It is.
It is flat out my favorite.
Yeah.
I love the whiteboarding. I love the screen share from anybody. The chat's fantastic.
And how does it compare to GoToMeeting? Is it just more functionality or?
Oh, yeah. Okay. And it's less expensive. Yeah. 25 people for $10 a month. Yeah.
$10 a month. See, that's competitive now. That's good. Yeah.
There's the link. You can get a free trial. Check it out.
Yep.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Karen. Okay, bye. I hate to see you go. Hi, Mindy. Welcome. I also do whoa, sorry, Mindy. See, talking type doesn't work. Mindy. Yeah.
I know Mindy. She'll be okay. I promise.
Okay, good. I use Zoom for I do a Wednesday morning professional business networking group. Yeah. Just like you're in face-to-face, we've taken it virtually. And so I use Zoom for that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I will definitely check that out.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. I got to tell you, check out the features. You can do whiteboarding. You can do annotations on other people's screens. I can take screen control. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I use it. I'd use a dual screen setup.
Charlie likes
James, I do
I like control, don't I?
I do a dual screen mode, and I keep my whatever I'm teaching from on the second screen and just show the second screen, and I'm able to use a pointer and highlight. It's awesome. You'll really like it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and
I definitely check that out because I do a huge amount of coaching, and
perfect.
This is in a in a live arena where we're doing all whiteboarding. So
yes. It's absolutely perfect for that. Well, and I've used it, as you heard from Lynn. She was a participant in the Mastermind group and loved it. Loved it over Google Hangouts, hands down.
Yeah.
I know, I call it Google Dropouts. But so as a tool, it's an excellent tool. It's an excellent tool.
I wonder if Google is listening in on this conversation.
I'm not that important.
What they had a 3-year head start, right? Over Blab, so
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Dan, what are your thoughts? You've been listening in with James too, right?
Well, I just jumped in just a few minutes ago because you hooked me. You know, you got to give these great hook titles for your blab, right? So when you said mastermind groups, I'm like, hey, I got to go see what these people are talking about.
Oh, I thought it was the power word.
The power, okay, yep. The power of mastermind.
I was trying
It's all
for
about growth.
Sure. So
Growth. Man.
yeah,
Mastermind equals growth in my experience.
there you go.
So
Yeah,
yes,
and
Lynn, her business is exploding after one, so it's awesome.
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, we're all excited for her.
It's pretty great.
So
I put all the credit on her, by the way, for taking that which was given to her by the group members, by participating and all that.
So, Lynn, were you a facilitator or were you a participant?
No, I was a participant. Charlene was the moderator,
Okay.
and I was with a group of folks, and it was all summer long, and it was two times a month for the
For
the
3
summer,
months.
and for 3 months, and when I at the end of it, I came out of it, and I had gotten 3 new clients and a couple of speaking invitations, and my last quarter of this year is going to be freaking awesome.
She's going to be inviting me over for a weekend.
That's awesome. So now I'm curious, did you go in with the intention of the networking or did you go in the intention of giving value and the networking was a natural result?
I went in so that someone would kick me in the ass is really what it was. I went in, I was like, I have got to get focused on this marketing plan and get my business on track. And so that was kind of what I went in with. And while my stated goals at the outset did not end up being what happened in the end, I was super happy with the outcome. And I didn't get my written marketing plan done. And that was what I was like, I'm going to have a nice written document, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do that. But what I did do was I reached out to people and I networked and I got feedback from the group on stuff that was bugging me in my business. And one of the things that I really figured out was that I didn't like my website, and I was completely hung up on the fact that I couldn't fix it. And it was making me crazy, and I was just stuck there. So the mastermind group helped me get off of that stuckness. And now I've hired somebody to do it because I've just realized that it's just not for me.
What a great testimony. That is powerful.
And letting that shit go opened up. I have this huge client that is basically, I've got work through the end of the year, hot damn. So, and that's all because of the mastermind.
Yep.
Oh, it's more. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I got it on record too.
That is the best result of all.
No, that's great because I'm excited for you, and I don't even know what you do. So that's awesome.
Yeah. It was my group she was in, as moderator. Trust me, I am over the moon to hear this out of somebody.
That is awesome. So from a personal development point, I'm curious, Len, what was your greatest takeaway as far as your personal or professional growth out of that? Your business stuff, I understand, but what about you, the person?
For me, it was recognizing that I don't have to do everything. Because I was like, I'm going to do my website myself. I'm creative. I can do this, and I'm going to do all this marketing stuff. And I'm going to do it. And it was like, just dial it back, Strand, and then figure it out. Ask people to help you. And honestly, once I did that, once I was like, I can't do all of this. And it literally opened up to then, now I've got people coming to me to do the stuff that I can do. And that's, and then that's exploded my business because now people are coming to me. And it literally was letting go of the fact that I can't do everything.
Wow.
And it was amazing because I'm used to doing everything.
Congratulations.
And so it's good. It's really good.
Congratulations and kudos, Charlene. Obviously, you facilitated her right into success. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the other group members were tremendous support and suggestions and challenges. They'd say, well, I think, and Charlene actually is a very good challenger, and you need that when you need somebody to say, hey, you got to rethink that, or what about this way? And it was a really, really phenomenal group. And I think everybody in our group has had some kind of success. I know another person.
They're knocking on my door.
Deal.
They want everybody. So this is just honest to God's truth. I have 30 people from various different masterminds knocking on the door. When are you opening the next one? When are you opening the next one?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, because somebody else in our group got another 3 clients.
I thought so.
Somebody else got 3 more clients.
4 thumbs up.
Yeah,
I can't. I don't have any more thumbs.
Okay, everybody thumbs.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I talked to a group of entrepreneurs last night. I went to a seminary and talked to an entrepreneurial pastors getting ready to go bivocational. So they all have their entrepreneurial projects, so they may be able to support themselves, be the tent makers. And
nice.
it was funny because when I talked to them about their elevator speech, I said, don't use the what I do speech, use the transformative language. This is how I change people's lives. And it was a real aha moment when they finally realized they could marry their vision for their ministry with their entrepreneurial heart. And it was just a real light bulb for them to use that transformative language. Because when you communicate your vision, when you speak with swagger, as I say, when you communicate your vision, people will want to jump in and help you, especially the places you need to leverage. Anyway, okay, I'm going to quit preaching. I'm not going to blabjack you, Charlene. I'm so excited for Lynn. It's like, woohoo!
Well, you're welcome to stay on here, Dan. And, shift it into the realm of mastermind or power,
It is. Yeah. Well, I'm serious because the mastermind groups, because actually Mindy Hart is a business strategy coach, and she's my business partner, and we're doing much the same thing IRL in real life, and who knows, we could do it virtually too. But those are awesome. You're preaching to the choir, Charlene. You're doing
outstanding. I love it. Well, and that's what I want this to be. I want you guys' experience in it too, because James is coming up with an idea of his own that he wants to do one. And I was just going to interject here, James, that the group Lynn came out of was business model specific. Everybody who was in there was a solopreneur. So nobody had issues with employees or with staff or brick and mortars or anything like that. They weren't necessarily home-based, but they were solopreneurs. And that lent an air of trust and additional value, what I'm hearing from Lynn, that somebody gets it. Yeah, I've got a room full of people that actually get it. I don't have to explain why this is an issue.
Yeah.
So
there's a good question, Charlene. Is there a right time to hire a business coach? I'm sure you have an opinion on that.
I do. When you think you need one.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you start thinking you need one, now is the time. That recently happened to me, quite honestly. And I had wondered if there would come a time when I thought I would need, if I would need a coach. And then there came a time about a month or so ago when I said, is now a good time to get a coach? Is now the time? And I heard myself say, if you're asking the question, that means you need it. So I hired one, and then we went through a very intense session addressing exactly what I needed to have addressed, got my answers. Big breakthroughs for me happened in the business. And then 2 weeks ago, I got a regular coach, and we're meeting once a week. But honestly, I am of the mind that if you are asking if now is the right time, it is. It's the same question of, is now the time I should delegate this, or should I get a VA now?
Yeah. That's awesome. I always ask the coaches that call me, who's coaching you? Who are your coaches? What areas of life do you have a coach in right now? That's because if you don't have a coach, God knows that Mindy keeps me accountable and keeps my feet to the fire. So I think she's been stalking me. She's followed me on Everblab today. So I don't know what she's doing. So I'm kidding.
Actually, she saw the power, I think.
She saw the power of Mastermind. Good. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So now, just so everybody knows, my current business coach is a John Maxwell background, faith-based.
Yeah.
Because that was important to me that he has an outstanding business background. But it was more important that he has the generous of spirit and faith-based for me.
Right. So, okay, I'm going to jump out of here and let someone else get in the hot seat.
Well, great having you on here, Dan.
It was great.
Yeah,
another thought
nice to meet you,
come
Dan.
back in.
4 times up. Okay, talk to y'all later.
Yep.
So, James, what do you think? It looks like things are ruminating up there. What's happening? Uh-oh, lost your audio.
Uh-oh.
That lovely accent isn't coming through, Doll.
Is that on?
There you are.
Back on?
Now you're on.
Okay.
And as soon as Leif gets in here.
Fantastic, yeah. I'm actually going to shoot as well because it's after midnight here in Ireland.
Oh, my.
Oh, my goodness.
One final question, actually, I was just curious on. How do you support progression for your mastermind participants? What's the strategy? Is it that weekly accountability, or what? Any thoughts on how to support the individuals in the mastermind so that they not just change but they progress in their outcomes?
So the way mine are structured, beyond the initial entry point one, it is Leif, isn't it? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So welcome in just a moment. So, or else, trust me, it'll go and it'll be crazy. So, and I'm hearing myself, so it's driving me nuts. It must be Leif. I'm muting. Okay, we're good now. So anyway, so I have the initial 3-monther, right? And that is we meet twice a month. Then I have one to grow your biz. And again, that's twice a month. And I'm a participant in there. But on the third level, that is, and this is why the pricing almost triples, is because you meet twice a month and essentially you're meeting very specifically to grow yourself and grow your business. But if you have that 2-week stretch and sometimes 2.5 into 3-week stretch, even though the mastermind participants and members are connecting with each other separately, I'm keeping track of everybody's goals and noting what they've been saying and what they think they want so that I can meet with them and be available to them to touch points. So if right now the structure is quite simply, I'm available to you by email. You know, if you've got questions after this, if you want a little more guidance someplace, you want the resource that wasn't discussed. But that's pretty much it, because I don't bill myself as a coach. I'm there to support, encourage, and moderate and make sure things get done. I'm pretty good at kicking ass, and I'm pretty good at
very good.
Very direct. I don't like BS, and so my radar will go like this, and I get on it. But I'm also a believer. You said you were going to do what you were going to do, and you didn't do it, so it's not my fault. You see, so the people who join my masterminds know that. That's the level of expectation that's there.
Super. Okay. Well, thank you guys, and I'm going to jump off. Leif, great to say hello as well, and I listen in for a couple of minutes to just hear your thoughts. And thanks, Charlene, and thank you, Lynn. Very much appreciate the discussion.
Oh, thank you, James. It was a pleasure having you on here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Leif, I can hear myself.
Hi, Lynn and Charlene. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you've covered so
Doesn't
far,
matter.
but as
Jump on in.
someone who's So yeah, I've been both a part of mastermind groups and have facilitated them
Wonderful.
as well. And so yeah, the group that I've recently led has been more of kind of a small coaching group, which is a little bit different in that it's not just sort of everybody holding each other accountable, sort of a more co-led mastermind group. It was a facilitated mastermind group that I called the Spark Group. And the way that we did it that was really fun this time was we actually started off with a in-person retreat together. I did two different ones. I did sort of a virtual version and then a live version for people locally. So started off with the retreat together so that they got to know me and our processes, and we did some of the real basic initial sense of character mapping and values and getting some basic goals and things like that, life wheels and things. And then we got to flow into a weekly or bi-weekly accountability. And I bring kind of a playful, creative aspect to my coaching also. And then ended with like a celebration retreat together. And that was a really fun format. I've shared the PDF with people and said they could just steal it and use it however they want. So if you guys are interested, I'm happy to put it in the chat box.
Sure.
But otherwise, I'm not sure what we're talking about, and I can answer any questions you might have.
Well,
I just came in.
I'm recording it for prosperity reasons because I'm going to be taking snippets. I'm promoting the masterminds that I do, but I'm also doing it as a service to those who don't know what a mastermind is. Let's get some people. Obviously, we have 3 people on here who can facilitate, moderate, and we have Lynn, who's been a participant. So we can share the experiences to kind of ease people into the idea that masterminds really are effective. What kind are they? What kind of pricing? What kind of structures and all that? So whatever you have to offer actually is terrific.
Well, for anyone who's listening, one thing I guess I would say is just anyone that tells you there's one right way to do it is full of it. There's no, even the name mastermind group, right? For some people it doesn't resonate. So you can come up with goal group or spark group or dream setting group or whatever. So I think that, empowering people to realize that they can do it, with one other friend or 4 or 6. They can do it so they each take turns leading it. They can get a paid facilitator so that energy doesn't take up time and that person brings skills. There's no one right way to do it. It can focus on accountability, or it can focus on, sort of resourcing each other. Ideation. Hey, you get stuck. You can use that group to help brainstorm how to get unstuck, or maybe do some networking. So what's so cool about a mastermind group, of course, as you guys probably talked about, is that you are recognizing that you can't really do it alone, and that you can have this community that is much wiser than yourself. We're wiser together. We're meant to be together. And then you also start to see that there's patterns and that you're not alone, that you don't, I think when we're alone, and particularly if you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, you tend to think, I suck. This must be my problem. Why do I have these fears? Why can't I do this? And you get around a mastermind group and you're like, oh my God, this is totally common. Everybody else goes through seasons where they get stuck. And
just put us all in one big box of mixed nuts and it's a happy day.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. True. So there's a few, couple ideas that I'm just throwing out, but I think keeping it, my sort of unique flavor that I love to promote for other groups is to try and have it not just be talk, but try and use not just your left brain, but your right brain. Have some creative time, have some embodied time. Try and make it actually something that people look forward to, rather than like, oh my God, I feel so crappy because I have to go say what I didn't do this week. And then secondly, it would be, there's never really a failure. There's just a failure to recycle or to compost what didn't get done. So if you compost it, if you let your crap, your shit turn into compost, then you can actually see that there's a lesson. There's some reason that there was resistance. There's something that you have to learn about yourself. Maybe you set too big a goals or too small a goals, or maybe they were someone else's goals. They weren't your own goals. So, it's like actually using the why it didn't happen as an opportunity to learn is something that I'd really recommend.
But I think that's
blah, blah, blah.
Part of the reason for having a moderator, though.
Yes,
to
because they
help
can really
that
help.
gets pulled out so that it's not
Totally.
all about, I failed, I didn't do this. Well, wait a second, what did
Exactly.
happen? What did you do? Why didn't you? That sort of thing.
Yep.
Great stuff, Leif. Great stuff. Ian.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Ian hadn't said a word. Ian Murray. This is my friend Lynn.
Yeah.
And this Leif. Ian's been on with me a few times. And I hope you'll be on with me a few more times. I always have absolutely great stuff to share. So you're on, buddy.
What a segue. Now, Leif, I was just enjoying what Leif was saying, and might just share one of the frameworks I've used for a more recent mastermind model I've done. And it was a face-to-face scenario. And I'm looking at taking that online very, very shortly. And the model was what I called exceeding minds. And the idea was that, sure, the power of the mastermind brought people together, but I sandwiched an accountability model amongst a training session that was focused on something that I'd determined through a coaching background that these people could use. And to Leif's point, what we did was do an education session, which was very much facilitated, but it was very right-brained in the way I helped people explore the problem. And they would solve it using the training that I developed, get them into that right brain mode, and then move into the accountability session, which almost always comes up with the roadblocks and the need for creativity to get around those roadblocks. So it really shifted them from their workaday habit going to it was actually an evening session. So we went from, I think it was 5:30 p.m. or maybe I had to be there at 5:30. I can't remember now. 5:30 p.m. and it was billed to take 3 hours. As it turns out, most people stayed around for 4, and it was a dinner, it was the education activity, and it was the accountability session that really, really worked. And I think that right brain element was a key factor in its success and why those people want to come back and do more of it. And
awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know that I could do that, but I'm open to working with somebody and partnering with somebody to have them do that part. I'm much more. I'm an. Hi, Ian. I'm so process oriented. It's. I just say it's the engineer in me. I'm an engineer, and like Lynn said, I was very good at taking charge and keeping you on track and kicking your ass and making you accountable nicely. I hope. I mean, she's still here.
Yes,
she still considers me a friend. So, I appreciate that.
Hey, I gotta sign off because I have to feed some children. So.
Okay. Thank you. Hugs. I appreciate you being here. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, Lynn.
Yeah, I had told her, she stayed much longer than I had told her. I said, it's only going to be about an hour, knowing it'd go longer than that. But that's okay. I wanted her to say this was my experience,
Right. That speaks then. Lynn, I just want to give two things. One is... Wait
a minute. Who are you talking
sorry, not Lynn. Charlene, my apology. Two things. One is that I think it is wise to work with your strengths and to not focus on things that feel like there's going to be too much pain or a learning curve and collaborate with people. But on the other hand, from one coach to another coach, I would say looking at what resistance might come up in terms of bringing out that right brain or that other side could be an interesting thing. I mean, I do trainings with facilitators and coaches and group workers. And so it might be fun to look at your... Well, how about this? Someone who facilitates.
I've never had training as a coach.
Or even any kind of group worker, just working with groups, period. Yeah, the process. Yep. Because you said you're a process person, and it's not so much about a linear left brain thing, but it is about realizing that part of the process is recognizing that people have bodies and right brains and hearts and like they're this whole person, and how can you as a facilitator help activate that whole person?
That in that aspect I do well. I don't have a problem with that in the setting of the group, with the health of the group in mind, with the health of the member in mind, that if there's obvious emotional issues and things that are happening, I can guide the conversation so that if we can't get to root cause while we're sitting there, they'll have walked away with some tools to be able to identify it. What I'm talking about is taking it to a bigger level of what you were describing and what Ian described of you being the one, because the models I use is, I call it user-generated content, where it's primarily the members who are giving each other the answers, and I'm making sure that the answers actually fit and that they all have the opportunity to participate and get what they need out of what's happening, right?
Gotcha.
So because what Ian described, that's not the way I've ever done one, where I'm the one that's training or putting out the content, or because I usually do that in a workshop session. Not that I can't do it. It's just that when I'm doing mastermind groups, it's a different feel and a different setup right now.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. Totally. Well,
John.
Take a look. I just put that link in there for you for the PDF, and feel free to, steal what you want. There's different pieces of it that I think can make a group experience interesting. So
I love it. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. And John made it in. Hi, John. I've known John.
I'll let John pop
month.
in because I think I might need to go join my family for some dinner here. But good to meet you. And wait, it's Charlene and Dynamic Speaking. What is your name?
Ian.
Ian.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Ian, just a little heads up, because when I look at your, at the very end of your profile, it does say @Ian Murray, but I was thinking, okay, cool.
The reason for that was a recent rebrand where I started using Dynamic Speaking for this stuff, and people knew me as the name. So I've just
totally. I'm totally going through that myself too. I'm in a way going the opposite way. My business was Spark Interaction, and I'm actually moving towards a personal brand.
It's becoming Charlene Burke.
I went.
So I'm going towards
combining of two businesses. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I went the other way.
All right, take care, you guys.
Thanks.
And bye-bye.
Cool.
So we have an open seat if somebody wants to jump in. I've got a few more minutes to talk about the power of mastermind groups, do some Q&A, share your experiences. I run mastermind groups. I have some seats open in a goals and accountability group for anybody who's looking for a good entry point into trying a mastermind. And that's pretty much it.
Just a comment about the time of this session, Charlene.
Mm-hmm.
As we talk about online activities and blabs and anywhere else where we might want to do mastermind in all those ways that Leif commented, it's just amusing that right now we've had 2 or 3 folks going off to feed munchkins. And when you went online, I was finishing breakfast with munchkins. So I'm
wondering if maybe the 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning isn't really the best.
I think this one's a bit clashy right now, at least. And